Thanks. Yeah. Morning Facebook family.
So it's time, my friends, that we get to the program Overcoming Health Issues Naturally. Right here on 995. Dr. Batson, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. And how are you?
995.
I am good, sir. I am good. A pleasant good morning to the listeners of Sky 99.5. Pleasant good morning to our Facebook listeners as well. Always a pleasure to be here discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. And last Sunday, we had a very interesting program. We covered so many different things. And today, of course, it's going to be no difference. There were some things that I have to address from the last program as regards to what we were discussing. We had a very interesting discussion regarding depression, anxiety. You're talking about mental health, which is always a touchy subject for so many individuals that, we have to ensure that, not necessarily tread lightly, but, you have to know what you're doing, looking in, paying attention to individuals to really determine, if they may have an issue, because we know when mental health reaches the point where it's really bad, especially things like depression, PMS, anxiety, it could actually reach the point where a person's actually commit suicide. So, that's something obviously we don't want. So today, we're going to be discussing the ever popular situation associated with poor circulation. And I'm doing this against my better judgment, even though we do not have circulation tea in stock. But based on the questions that we had gotten and the live and that kind of thing, a lot of persons were asking that, we discuss poor circulation. So I will just, let you know one time that circulation tea has not arrived yet. But we will be getting shortly. And of course, even if after I discuss everything about circulation, you do want circulation tea, you just need to call and give them your name. That's all. And when we get, they're going to make sure and call you. Okay? So, when we're talking about circulation, circulation is vitally important to the body simply because it has to do with the transmittance or the transmitting of blood and oxygen to different cells in the body. Now, what confuses a lot of individuals, or not necessarily confuse them, but what a lot of persons may not necessarily be aware of, is that with poor circulation, the circulatory system in the human body is so extensive that it doesn't mirror anything that we know on Earth. Simply because if you look at if you were to take all the blood vessels, arteries, capillaries, veins, those type of things, you will find that that could actually make the circumference of the Earth 2.5 times. So that in itself is a very telling situation, because you're talking about a very extensive network of capillaries, veins, and arteries. Arteries, of course, being the larger, then the veins, then the capillaries. And we also are aware as well that the structure of the cardiovascular system is primarily like a tree trunk, where you have the large trunk, then which would represent the arteries, then the branches will represent the veins, and then the smaller branches that go up where the leaves are usually on and that type of thing, that will actually represent the capillary. So it's like a tree-like structure. So as a result of that, if one has poor circulation, you find it's very easy for them to end up in situations where you could end up with high blood pressure. So hypertension is a consequence of poor circulation. They could also end up with what is known as atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the blood vessels, because one of the things that is also vitally important to our circulation, apart from the blood vessels being clear themselves, is the pliability of the blood vessels. Because remember, the inner lining of blood vessels are lined with cells referred to as endothelial cells, and those endothelial cells need to be very elastic in nature, and they also need to maintain that elasticity in order for circulation to be optimal. So you can have situations where the arteries are clear, the veins are clear, the capillaries are clear, but the elasticity of the blood vessels themselves are not as they're supposed to, and that, of course, could compromise circulation. Hence the reason things like atherosclerosis, which is hardening of the blood vessels. So because those blood vessels not as pliable as they're supposed to, they're not able to move, they're not able to expand, contract, open, close. It means that if they're very hard, it is very easy for them to break or crack, and then that would create inflammatory response, block arteries, that type of thing. You also have the situation as well where you can have an issue with vascular dementia, as I mentioned, as well as Alzheimer's, which we know is a lack of correct blood flow to where? To the brain or the cerebral hemisphere. So the thing is, it also depends on where the blood circulation is impaired, could also determine what is the symptomology or the disease. So look, for example, as it relates to men, and this is not to poke fun or to be facetious in any way, but what is erectile dysfunction? Erectile dysfunction is when men do not have proper circulation or blood flow to their private, right? So as a result of that, you're now in a situation where that organ is not being able to function properly. So the same applies to anywhere in the body where poor circulation or blood is not being transported as it's supposed to. So you would find, for example, people who end up with very black feet. So your foot very dark, and as a result of having a very dark foot, you find that it is signaling poor circulation. You're not getting sufficient blood flow to the venous system in the legs. So as a result of that, you now have your feet becoming very dark. So the diagnosis could be deep vein thrombosis, or what is known as DVT. It could also be some sort of thrombosis situation where you're developing clots. So that is also an indication or expression of poor circulation as well. Now, what is vitally important as well too is when you do not get circulation, even to the proper aspects of your brain, past the brain, where we actually deal with like the hair follicles. So as a result of that, you end up losing all your hair, so you become bald. Even though a lot of time male pattern baldness and alopecia has a lot to do, again, apart from deficiency in various vitamins, minerals, obviously, it also shows a significant reasoning as it relates to poor circulation as well. So that is just to help you to understand how important circulation is. So those are some of the issues associated with poor circulation. Obviously, excuse me, if you get a myocardial infarction, or what is referred to as a heart attack, now it means that in that particular case, you could also have a situation where circulation is actually affecting the heart. So the heart is not able to function properly, because anyone who's hypertensive, for example, that puts strain and pressure on your heart. If you have blocked arteries, it's going to put strain and pressure on the heart. Usually, all aspects of circulation would eventually affect the heart, and in the way, or in terms of, or by affecting the heart, what I want to say rather, you find that it again contributes to situations where you can have an unhealthy heart and then end up in a situation where you end up with a myocardial infarction, or what is known as a heart attack, or the doctor could tell you have problems with your valve. A number of issues can arise as a result of having poor circulation to your heart. So that's very, very important. One of the things you also need to pay very, very close attention to as well is the situation of actually being able to know, or what indications does the body give you to show that you have poor circulation. Because there are a number of telltale signs that one would be able to get. Like, for example, the darkness or the blackening of the feet is one. Pins and needles cramping in your calves, burning on their feet is the next one. All of a sudden, you're getting problems with blurred vision. Indication again. You're having problems with, as I mentioned, ED, erectile dysfunction. You're having problems even with breathing. A lot of times, if you have what is known as COPD, because the lungs play a significant role in that whole blood circulation situation. It does. So it's very important that we also pay very close attention to that, so that we would actually be able to pick up those particular symptoms. So as we continue, let me just give you those telephone numbers. You could feel free to give us a call or visit those telephone numbers that you can get us on. You can get us on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And you can also get us at any of our locations. We're located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talk building in Chagonas, Montrose Main Road. We're also on the corner of Ramsamooch Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Baby, as well as Red Edge Mall on the Western Main Road, St. James and Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. Those numbers again, 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. So another reason to that, or telltale sign of poor circulation, is a lot of headaches. So if you're having headaches, and of course, it also depends on where the headaches are concentrated, could also give you an indication of where the poor circulation is more severe. So if you're having headaches to the front, your forehead, your eyes, that's usually poor circulation in the frontal aspect of the cerebral hemisphere, which is also going to affect your eyesight. Hence the reason your eyes start to hurt you, you find your vision become blurred. The ones at the back of your neck, that is blood pressure, always. Has always been blood pressure. I know there are some persons who say that you don't know when your pressure high. That is not true. One of the first things to know is start to feel uncomfortable to the back of your neck. There's something start to get tighter, and you feel, especially when you're upset, you hear what, I better cool down, I better calm down, because this thing going on. Right? So there are normally indications of poor circulation, and the most important thing is to be actually able to look at it and to determine, what, one, that you have a problem, and two, that you need to really focus and pay attention to it. Also, if you're getting like sharp pins or sharp, like zapping feelings in your head, but it's not happening in the whole head, so you feel like if things choking you, as they say in our colloquial language, choking you, stabbing, discomfort is usually a sign of poor circulation. Now, if you feel like things walking on you, or you feel like, as I say, junjuni, that could be an indication of poor circulation. But it's not only poor circulation, it's poor circulation that could have possibly now graduated to neuropathy, which is damage to the nerves as a result of poor circulation, which is why you would hear about diabetic neuropathy, because you can be diabetic and not have neuropathy, and then you could also be not a diabetic and have neuropathy, right? So we know that with a diabetic, because of excessive levels of glucose in the blood, you end up with a poor circulation issue. So again, this is looking at root cause. So as a result of having poor circulation, now the poor circulation eventually affects the nerves. So you end up with a central nervous system problem. So those are some things that you need to pay very close attention to. So what we're going to do, I'm going to speak a bit on what we do at Batson Associates in terms of being able to determine, excuse me, how, what level your circulation is at, especially blood circulation to the brain, because we do something known as a magnetic resonance analysis scan. And that machine has never, ever, ever made a mistake as it relates to determining circulation to the brain. Also, as it relates to the live nutritional blood cell analysis test, which we do have a special running. You can check that out on our Facebook page. On Facebook, we are Batson Associates Limited. On Instagram, we are Batson Associates TT. And on Google, YouTube, my apologies, we are Batson Associates Trinidad. Right. So with that being said, we're going to open the telephone lines because even though I decided to speak about this is not the only topic that exists in health, right? So we're going to open the lines. In fact, someone actually asked me to give them the telephone number for the radio. That's why I was not tempted to be rude. Usually I don't look at my phone, but you realize I was a bit distracted simply because that individual wanted the number to call in. So Dominic, could you just remind me what that telephone number is again?
The numbers to call are 625-2759 or 624-7729.
Give me that one more time, sorry.
One more time?
Yes, sir.
625-2759 or 624-7729.
624-7729.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right. So with that being said now, we'll entertain some calls. Yes, good.
All right, caller, good morning to you. Welcome. Morning. Yes, morning. Dr. Batson.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. If someone has a vision problem, right?
They have a what problem?
You do with a vision problem. You see people walking the road and people moving, but they can't recognize see. You think there's anything to be done about that?
Repeat that again?
Okay, like someone who is see, right? I see, right? But
you see it, right?
Yeah, if I go to fasting, I can see if I go to fast, but I can't recognize the faces.
Right.
And if I go about a foot away from a motorcar number,
right,
I can see number plate, right? But if I step back about 3 feet, 4 feet away, I can't make all the number.
And how long that going on now?
Yes.
But did you ever go and have your eye tested? You ever went to ophthalmologist?
Yes, I went to doctors and they tell me dehydration, macular degeneration, camera damage.
Okay.
Veil in the eye. So they tell me different things,
Right. But you never did any surgery or anything like that?
No, never surgery.
No, well, you could deal with that for you, man. If they tell you have detached retina. So I find that strange. I mean, if a doctor sees detached retina, they will usually recommend some sort of something for you. They shouldn't leave you like that. But if it is the same, you have detached retina, that is one problem. Macular degeneration is the next thing. If they tell you the camera, in terms of, have you ever used anything from us?
No.
Yeah, well, you need to get an eye optics formula, man. There's a product that we carry called eye optics formula. Now, do you have diabetes?
No sugar, no pressure. I don't drink, I don't smoke, nothing like that.
Okay, that's strange. And what type of work you used to do? You ever used to deal with chemicals?
No.
Okay, or deal with a lot of light, like microscopes or?
No.
You was ever in any accident, any fall, you hit your head, anything like that?
Yes, I get a lot of sugar stone in my head.
A big stone?
Somebody present stone I get in my head and they bleed, but I don't hear like that. I have it by my head.
Well, it must not affect your ears, but it affect your eye. Because the thing is, a lot of people get lash, as we say, or injured. What's the word that is used in medicine? I can't remember the medical term. Trauma. So yes, trauma. So you get like head trauma, because a number of things could cause head trauma. You could fall vehicular accident, big stone, fight, bottle, piece of wood in your head, you know. Even women and this. No, but you ever checked your head? Like when I say check your head, like you ever went and do like a MRI, a CT scan, anything of the brain or anything like that? No, man, no. You are just. Oh, you do? Okay. Well, what I would suggest you do, but yeah, but here what I suggest you do. If you could come at least and get the eye optics formula, you make sure and shake it up. You put 2 drops in your eye, morning and evening. IT, I know we have some. I know we get an IT in stock just now. You can get some IT. You could also use white tea is a good tea that is help with circulation to the brain, as well as dandelion is also good as well. And at least get some of the water, because that is a serious thing. And based on okay, good. And based on what you're saying, this bothering you a long time, right? No. Well, obviously, well, yeah, you self it was starting to get worse, yeah. Yeah, well, come. I was. No, I understand what you're saying, you know. But remember, the thing is, you're playing with your luck. It's surprising. It's surprising that your sight lasts so long. But come on, let's see about that point for you, man.
Well, yeah, but they don't look at another conversation. Wait on the appointment in next month, and then you will get more to do.
Yeah, no, but I don't tell you 3 things to do there. Well, 2, because you say you're using the water. I suggest you get some of the white tea and get the eye drop. You heard me? Yeah, the white tea and the eye drop.
Okay. Well, I'm going next week and talk to Mr. Batson about it.
All right, good, no problem.
Right, but I have the appointment next month, so I want to see because I'm actually.
Where you have that appointment? Which office? Oh, maybe he didn't hear me. Okay. Yeah, so those numbers again, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. Let me just make mention about our comment here. Ms. Jennifer Hospitalis on our Facebook chat here just mentioned, Dr. Batson, I used the IT. The pressure went down from 23 to 14. So this is someone who used IT from us, based on what she's saying here, and the eye pressure went down from 23 to 14. Interestingly, depending on how the question goes, glaucoma is something I would touch on a bit, because I find a lot of people, again, this glaucoma thing becoming a little too popular now. Glaucoma, like it bypassed cataract. Long time cataract was passing glaucoma, but now it's significantly getting worse. All right, so
let's take a call. Caller, good morning to you. Caller, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning. This is the Dr. Batson's program. Yes. Could I share some information about myself?
Yeah, of course you can. Go ahead. Morning.
Right. I'm 42 years old. I was a patient. I had COVID.
Right.
And I was home for 21 days.
Right.
I didn't have any breathing problem or loss of smell or taste. All I had was headache.
Right.
I take back pain. However, after the 21 days was up, I had to go to my doctor for the doctor to review me.
Right.
I did blood pressure. My blood pressure was normal. But when he did the ECG,
right,
he told me that my heart was mildly swollen.
Okay.
But I always hear you say, nothing shouldn't be swollen, nothing shouldn't be high. If something is wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And he was sort of like, nothing is going to be saying, just check your blood pressure on a regular basis, and take it easy. But personally, I plan to make an appointment to come to see you all, because that doesn't sit too well with me, because I have never had no problem with my heart.
Right.
I'm not a sickly person.
Right.
And that is what is bothering me, and it's still on my mind right now.
Okay. Well, rightfully so, because I mean, one of the after effects of COVID infection is something known as cardiomyopathy, which is something that the medical community wasn't even aware of in the beginning of COVID, because when COVID really.
But not touching you at first, Dr. Batson. The first doctor who saw me, the Dutch doctor,
right,
will keep telling me, the first thing he was very defensive,
right.
Yeah, I just wanted to know I'm like, I have 3 children.
Yeah. How do you mean COVID didn't cause it? So we went and pick it up. You went and buy it yesterday or the day before that?
But I want to know.
Now you're making sense.
He told me that, I said it's a long time I said I had to make an appointment because I even shared this number with your number with co-workers and they went and they got sorted out. But I always said I couldn't come to get a check. But then when he tells me crazy this just I just do it, no. And I'm taking it and I'm buying that.
Yeah. I uncomfortable with that. Yeah, because a swollen heart is an indication of some trauma, and it based on common logical sense, it would mean that if it is you didn't have COVID before and you didn't have this condition, and knowing from all the medical reports and the studies and whatnot, based on what COVID has done, is it affects the cardiovascular system significantly in a lot of individuals, as well as the musculoskeletal, where people have a lot of pain and whatnot. So the whole long and short of it, we could sort you out. What I could suggest you do, just based on what it is you told me, because you say you're not sickly, you're 42 years, nothing wrong with you as far as you know, correct?
Yes.
Right.
The only thing I'm a sickle cell trait and that's it, like something's shiny.
But are you using medication for the sickle cell trait, or you're not on medication?
No, I'm not on medication.
Oh, good.
Is
that true? Okay. Very good. Yeah. So see what I'm doing some makeup days. So if you want an appointment, we could always see how, because that's a kind of, I think the next set of appointments we have is for June next year or something like that. But no. But I'm working on we're working assiduously on getting that organized, right? The thing is, normally we would have heart tea. I know we don't have. There's a product we have, which is a stem cell product. But what you could do in the meantime, from the home aspect, try and use, you can get some garlic. You take 1 head of garlic, and you take 1 inch of ginger, and you grate the both of them, and you drink that tea like 3 times a week. If you drink it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you put it in like a 12-ounce proper teacup, not them little mini, not them dolly or teacup. Yeah, proper teacup, and drink that, and that will at least start to give you some help in the meantime. We could always sort you out there, but that's a cause for concern. I wouldn't sleep on that.
Yeah, I'm from the Port of Spain area, so
St. James is going to be the better office for you. Okay, good, no problem.
All right, thank you for calling. All right, so we have a couple of messages here. Let's touch on that.
Morning, can you ask Dr. Batson just touch on the subject of arthritis in the hip and in the back, and what might be eventually done to treat the symptoms?
Yeah, I got that. Arthritis in the hip, back. The thing is, once you have been diagnosed with arthritis is, well, first of all, you have different types of arthritis, but primarily arthritis is inflammatory response or high levels of inflammation in the musculoskeletal system. So arthritis can affect, let me put it like that, the joints, so bones, knees, elbows, shoulders, anything to do with your musculoskeletal system, which comprises muscles, bones, tendons, ligaments, synovial fluid, all those type of things, right? So inflammation in any one of those tissues, and depending on the location or the combination of the tissues infected, for want of a better expression, can determine what type of arthritis you end up having or where you get the pain. So if you have problems in your hip, now the thing is, if you have rheumatoid arthritis is parasite in your bones. Rheumatoid arthritis personally is the worst type of arthritis to deal with, because the body has significantly undergone a significant invasion, for want of a better expression, because what it means is that parasites would have left the intestines via the semi-permeable membrane there, get into the bloodstream, and based on anatomy and physiology, anything that gets into your bloodstream gets in where? All over the body, right? Into your eyes, your muscles, your neck, your skin, it is going to be transported. So rheumatoid arthritis is basically an invasion of parasites or pathogens, which could either be bacteria, fungus, viruses, protozoa, and you have worms. Well, the worms, as far as I understand, I mean, maybe I could have to do some more research, could possibly infect the bones as well, depending on the size. So if it is that, it means we need to deal with the high levels of inflammation. So that's where things like the silver formula with the minerals that we carry at Batson and Associates. That would give you some help. You're also looking at the inflammation formula, big product. You get a lot of success with that as well. What are the things you need to pay attention to if you're dealing with the next type of arthritis, which is osteoarthritis? So osteoarthritis now has to do with the combination and the density of the bones. So your bones, from a chemical perspective, are comprised of three main minerals, which is calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. And these minerals are combined, and they are in the form of what is known as calcium phosphate in the bones. Now, your bones are now depending on the type of bone you have, their bone cells are what you call osteocytes. Now, the bone is supposed to be very compressed. So what is the best analogy I can use here? Right. So imagine you have a bucket and somebody take the bucket and fill it up with marbles, right? So you're going to have some spaces in there, right? You all follow me? But if someone takes the same bucket and they fill it up with sand, the spaces are much less, because the sand is more dense, right? It's more packed together. So with that analogy, what I simply mean to explain is that your bones internally are supposed to look like how sand looks, very close and compressed together, as opposed to how marbles would look. And that's basically what osteoporosis is. So it means the density and the strength of the material has been compromised, and as a result of that, it's very easy for breakage to take place, which is why you find women who, as a result of pregnancy and hormonal imbalance and those type of things, women tend to be calcium deficient, more calcium deficient, I should say, than men. And as a result of that, they are more prone to osteoporosis, especially when they're going through menopause and that type of thing. Because of that hormonal change, you find calcium levels, calcium, magnesium levels tend to deplete. And as a result of that, they can now end up with osteoporosis. So in that particular case, then you're looking at now building back the integrity of the bones. So it would mean now, CMOS, for example, you know, to come to Batson and Associates together. That is something I always tell people: if you want to maintain good bone health, good musculoskeletal health. I mean, CMOS has so many other benefits. But watch me, your bones in tutus, you don't have a problem again. Take what I'm telling you. I mean, granted, as I mentioned, you have other things going on. You're going to have to use that silver and mineral formula to deal with the pathogens in general. But as it relates to that type of arthritis, that's the best information I could give, as the shortest possible explanation I could give for that there.
All right, next up. Good morning. What can cause someone to suddenly become constipated? The person says their age is 55 or a 55-year-old person.
A 55-year-old person, all of a sudden they have become constipated. A number of things could cause that. Have you started? Sorry?
I want to start by saying water.
Well, I'm not going to say, the first question is how much water do you drink? Interestingly, though, I don't know if you started any medication or any supplements, because if people, for example, who start using iron supplements, you need to be very careful. Usually, doctors tend to give you a small red tablet called ferrous sulfate. I'm not really a fan of it, because iron in the absence of vitamin C, or excess iron, I should say, in the absence of vitamin C, there's a close relationship, actually can cause constipation. So usually, if I have clients who have problems with anemic or low blood count, which is a very easy thing for us to fix at Batson and Associates, I would now recommend nutrient-dense greens. So I would recommend things like chlorophyll, which we have in stock, by the way, now. Chlorophyll, things like spirulina, chlorella, alfalfa, those type of things. Now, you may have to know how to use it depending on the extent of your situation. However, in general, you find that nutrient-dense foods tend to build blood count better than specific iron supplements. If you're using iron supplements, you need to be very careful of the combination, which, because all iron supplements are very familiar. You would find your B vitamin combination. So it would usually have like B6, B3, B1, B12 in that combination. You would also have your iron combination. But as I said, sometimes the vitamin C is not sufficient, or the source of the iron can actually cause someone to be constipated. So I'm just saying that, or maybe if you started using any other type of medication, you could pay attention to it. It could be that. If those are not it, and dehydration is not a problem, you drink sufficient amounts of water, then it means that you would actually be now able to correct that situation. One more thing though, constipation can also be caused by nerve problems. So usually if you are constipated and you're doing all what you're supposed to do, so you're drinking your water, you do some exercise, whether it's brisk walking, that type of thing, so you know the body moving things in a particular manner and that type of thing, we could always live with that. But if it is you at a point where it is you find that you're doing all those things correct and you're still having a problem, the possibility exists that you could have a central nervous system problem, because your bowel movement actually is a central nervous system function. A lot of people do not know that. Your colon has to depend on nerve pulses in order for you to have a bowel movement. That falls in your autonomic nervous system. Anywhere between is either parasympathetic or sympathetic. I can't remember which aspect of the autonomic nervous system addresses bowel movement, but it's either one of those. And usually, sometimes once we do work on your nerves, because I have had clients who came and they said, I just use a lot of purge, I use Dulcolax, I use this, I always have to take milk and magnesia in order for me to go off. Apart from that, it could also be some sort of bowel obstruction or some sort of issue where you may have partial bowel obstruction, and you're not aware of it, as well as you're having problem where you have an alignment issue. Because if you have poor alignment, it can affect your bowel movement as well. So it can actually cause your bowels to be, compressed in certain areas. So as a result, they're not as free. What you always have to remember, everything in your body is a pipeline or a network. Your colon is what? Your colon is a network. Your colon is usually what? 23 feet in length when you die. Yeah. When you live alive, when you die, I think your colon is like about 25 feet. So, and you know the reason why it actually gets longer? Because you're now dead, and as a result of that, that muscular what's the word I want to use? The muscular integrity is no longer there because as a result of death. So that constrictiveness is not there. So it's like it relaxes. And then you have your ascend, then your transverse, your descend, then your sigmoid colon. So the thing is that extensive channel or network, there are a lot of things that could go wrong in that whole journey that can cause problems. But usually, once you look at those different things, as I mentioned, I hope that could have helped you, it would mean that you need to maybe have a MRI done, or maybe let them do a CT scan or ultrasound, if it is we go through that and you're still having the problem. Okay?
Right. Doctor, someone is asking, or they're interested to know rather, how can you reverse the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes in a 6-year-old child?
Whoa. But how long was that diagnosis? That has to be a recent diagnosis.
I reserve my comments because 6 years old. 6 years old.
Yeah, that has to do with lifestyle, man. Of course you could reverse it. I dealt with a child like that. When they came to me, they were what, 5? Or could be around the same age, And what I did is we did some extensive work. The parents got some buffer, which they wasn't too fond of, but yeah, you can't have a 6-year-old child that's no, I'm not saying this for the same person who asked the question, because I do know, the details. But that could be corrected. Not to stray a bit, that's something that parents need to understand. I mean, if the World Health Organization could say that this generation is the first generation in human history where parents will bury their children, it means that we have a serious problem. And I think that was not for Generation X. Because Generation X is the last generation, right? The generation before Generation X is what? Millennials? They were saying that about the millennials. So what will go on with Generation X? Some of them are reaching 10 years and because this Generation X is the software generation. Well, primarily, when I say that, the more new, the social media, the techies. Yeah. So then they have more phone and all kind of. So they now say they have a problem if the diet ain't good, because they expose. Because think of your children now, they always on a laptop, they're always especially now with school. So it means that those children now need to be taken even better care of, and because we don't understand, or a lot of people don't understand that a lot of times energy affects the body, frequency, right? So frequency, radio waves, microwaves, all these different types of waves can actually throw the body off significantly, which is especially some of you who always like all in love with a cell phone. I mean, I've seen women with cell phones in the bosom. It have all their men or their phone always in all their pockets. That your pocket very close to your prostate. So you need to be careful. Even laptops, we know long time there was a whole thing about laptops where men will rested laptops on their lap. Yeah, that's not a good thing. That thing. So and then some of you sleep with your phone on your pillow, and that's nonsense. You'll kill yourself. Those things, like everything else, now, we are more affected by frequency. Years ago, we didn't have these problems, but now we do. So I mean, the old people ever saying, you either do die or you run away. So, you make a choice. You make a choice as to what you need to do. But definitely with a child like that, diet is needed, and we can correct the situation. I have done it in the past, but the diet is fundamental. And let me say something quickly too before I continue. When you are diabetic and you're doing things to the best of your ability, and you know yourself, I'm not talking about the ones who a little listen, a little care, a little business until they're ready to cut off on their foot and still a little care. I ain't talking about those kinds. I'm talking about the ones who really genuinely want help and they're trying. What you have to understand with diabetes always has to do with what you eat. So common sense make before book, right? There's a test known as a A1C or HbA1c, right? Which basically is the most standardized, my apologies, test that they use in diabetes now, because a A1C would give you the average of your blood sugar over 90 days. So let's say for argument's sake, your blood sugar, you tested, which is why testing is important. So let's say you tested your blood sugar for the week. You tested Monday, Tuesday. So let's say Monday, you get 100, Tuesday you get 115. Right? You ain't doing too bad. Because there are some people who are of the belief that your blood sugar should read 85. That does not apply to everyone. There are some people who cannot function at an 85 blood sugar. In my honest opinion and professional opinion, we could settle for anywhere between 90 to 110. If you know you're getting the 110, we're not saying that you don't need to do work and you don't need to be careful, but we wouldn't kill you for 110. That's what I wanted to try and understand. Because especially when you're beginning to the point where you're actually starting to reset your body. So resetting the body would involve doing things like using the alkaline water, using the Santulan. Because I've had diabetics who came to us, they use water, they use Santulan, and then they didn't take medication again.
Right.
Yeah, because it sort of reset the system. Because remember, Santulan is a 7-channel detox. Santulan cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. Anytime you're doing major work on your liver, there's going to be improvement once you're using the correct product and you're using it how you're supposed to use it, because the liver is a powerhouse in the body. The colon, of course, we know is the most important powerhouse. That's the boss. So once you're addressing 7-channel channels of elimination, and you're also addressing your water, your hydration, which has been left out of a lot of your regime for so long, it means that you're in some problems. Pleasant good morning to Miss McKenna. Miss McKenna said her blood sugar is 87. Show off now, right? So those are things that you need to take into consideration, because I'll tell you something. Someone who is diabetic, if they are hydrated more, or if they are hydrated properly, their blood sugar, they might have to say, I don't feel I have sugar again. Because water in itself, water and fiber is one of the most important things, apart from the supplementation and those other things, specific food and whatnot, that anyone who wants to have a healthy blood sugar should ensure that they incorporate in their diet. You must have fiber in your diet. You have two types of fiber. You have soluble fiber. Soluble fiber significantly addresses and corrects or regulates blood glucose levels in the bloodstream. That's why Almighty God, in his wisdom, when created man, specifically the diet associated, God knows exactly what you do, is we come afterwards and mess up the thing and want to do processed food. And I mean, it is kind of understandable. I mean, they could really do a better job, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, they deal with numbers. So at the end of the day, when they produce something for you, you honestly think they're studying, well, okay, we're going to produce organic, and we're going to make sure it's real good, and we're going to do this. That is expensive. It is very expensive. Now, expensive is a relative term, right? So I'm going to go down a particular line now. And that's why I always end my program and say, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. Because when it comes down to food, and two things I don't make joke with. What I put into my body, food-wise, supplement-wise as well too. That's why I said wise. Because when you talk about food, well, then there's one general characteristics of what food really is. But then we need to go a little further and not really discuss food, but discuss nutrition and anything to feed my mind. So I believe when coming to what you have to eat. Now, I mean, financial situations are financial situations. You may be in a situation, not all the time you're able to eat provision. We understand that. You might have to fall in for a little rice because we know rice is significantly cheaper than provision. But there is no comparison in terms of nutritional value. So your vegetables as well, because some people say, you know, food real expensive, but them is the meat mouth. What more expensive than meat? You tell me. Fish? All right, good. Nobody, you're not eat fish every day. You eat fish twice for the week. So it's a balancing game. But cost is always, you know, a good friend of mine, I remember going to a lecture some years ago, and one of the things that the professor said is that what you have to understand, there's a financial consequence to everything. That's established. What I have when I dressed this morning, I put on shoes, I put on socks, underwear, pants, everything. I didn't get it free. And even if you get it as a gift, the person who gave it as a gift, they didn't teach it, they rather buy it. So there's a financial consequence to everything that we have to do. Children, car, house, we understand that. But what a lot of people don't do is understand that in order for the wheels to turn, in any, like for example, if you look at a vehicle has what? A driver. If the vehicle is in very good condition and the driver is in not good condition, what will eventually happen to the vehicle? They'll crash, right? So we have to understand that we are the vehicles that control or operate all aspects of our lives, family-wise. And so in other words, what I'm saying to you, if you do not take care of the driver and you just take care of the vehicle, eventually the vehicle will no longer exist. Because when you're dead and gone, I mean, yes, all of us have to die eventually. I mean, you could go into the realm of what you believe in terms of resurrection and all that thing, but death could be a consequence for any of us. We in an accident, it doesn't necessarily be a health situation. But the point I'm making is that you need to ensure that you dot the, or stack the odds. Yes, as my great grandmother used to say, stack the odds in your favor, and that is what it involves. Doing a little cleanse, spend some money on yourself. Spend some money on yourself. You don't even have to come to Batson and Associates. I always tell people that I could come on the radio and talk and all, they want to come. Somebody will come, right? But the point I'm making is that you have to do something for yourself. Service, preventative maintenance. Someone sent a very interesting question there where they talk about daily allowance and recommended allowance. And I'll discuss that later on in the program, where I will discuss, what are your, because the thing is, there are a lot of different information as regards to zinc, for example, because somebody was confused. They said, Dr. Batson, how much zinc should I take? So they said the recommended allowance should be 30, I think it's mcg or milligrams for the day. Someone was saying 50, someone was saying 100. So a lot of the times, what do you do? My thing is this. If you had to take what is recommended daily, I will live with that, because I am trained in a particular way where I'm able to recommend therapeutic doses. So I might send somebody, and my clients could tell you that. I would tell them, for example, vitamin C. Like if we're dealing with a specific health condition, usually vitamin C, I use 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C for the day. And I've been doing that for years. I can't remember the last time I get anything resembling, the cold resembling. I think I've been exposed to a lot of COVID. Preventative maintenance, and even as men, men only believe in preventative maintenance when it comes to the younger aspect of the anatomy. Anything for that part, they have killed a lot of trees, have died as a result. This thing, Babwande, all them Babwande trees down Shagara must die because of that. Somebody decided one day to tell people that was good for the other aspect of the anatomy, and then people just went mad and started scrape off back and kill all the trees. So, men, I'm just saying that is not the only part of your body, right? That's important, but there are other aspects that are just as important to ensure that that function continues. That's a very important thing. All right, someone said, what, I had disappeared? Okay, all right, I think we came back. Okay, so those telephone numbers, again, you can get us on 222-8261. That's 222-8261. as well as 314-9975, 314-9975. Let me answer this question very quickly. This is from Miss Cecilia Idan. Ms. Idan is asking, what can you use for cartilage degeneration? Ms. Idan, there's actually a product that we carry at Batson Associates, which is a collagen and hyaluronic acid product. That product is actually very good for cartilage degeneration because it actually helps to rebuild the cartilage. You can also use Optimizer, is also very good for that as well. Inflammation formula is also going to help as well for any bone cartilage issues that you may have. It is never a good idea for people to go and put injection in your knees. I don't know who came up with that good idea to inject steroids in some of your knees. Because I'll tell you something, when you have pain and inflammation, it is already known that as a human beings, you don't want it. I hate pain. I tell people I have a very, which is why I didn't do well with fights and those type of things. So from the time it hit me, I started to see red because I can't take lash and thing. It's not like I can't take the lash, but I'm very sensitive when coming to it. So I don't like pain at all. So, and that is usually everyone. Nobody likes to be in pain. I remember recently I had some problems with my tooth because I have wisdom teeth that would never needed to be extracted, but one in particular, at a particular point in time, needed extraction. And I had an infection that came there, how I don't know, and it formed an abscess. And I had pain. I thought I was going to die. I mean, I remember getting up at night and I watching a drill and a pliers there, and I actually seriously contemplating to take a shot at something and pull this teeth out of my mouth. But of course, wisdom prevailed. But the point I'm making is that as it relates to pain, nobody likes to experience it. But what you have to understand, if you have pain associated with bones and muscles and tendons and arthritis, that type of pain is a different pain. And it is a pain that if you do not do the long way, go the long way of dealing with that pain and the correct way, there is no shortcut with arthritis. Take what I tell you. You will end up crippled. You will end up distorted. If you know the people who end up with rheumatoid arthritis and they literally deformed, notice if you watch in the camera, you notice how I'm doing my hands, like the hands like that, they bend up and that kind of thing. Let me tell you something. Those are the people who are the drug people. They use plenty medication, plenty painkillers. Because so what you did to your body is that the body became so desensitized. Because you could reach a point where your body is desensitized to pain, which is a bad thing. It means the nerves are damaged. So it means your body is just rotting away and you don't know. The thing is, when you're getting pain, pain is an indication of what? That something is wrong. Do not ever one day in your life. That's why plenty of your women just end up having to do hysterectomies because all they had and all they have menstrual cycle painful for years and all they just sit down there and believing that no, something wrong with you.
Say something normal.
Something, yeah, that can't be normal. Pain is not normal. Your pain, excuse me, is your body's way of telling you, listen to me, something is wrong in here, we are dying, we're ready to fall off a cliff, something. And the thing is, your body often warns you, always, there's always a warning there. All right, yes, Miss Joyce Smith, we have not forgotten you. Actually, your name came up on the list of some of the people that we have to deal with this week. All right, so you'll be hearing from us. All right, someone is asking, Ms. Arlene Barnett, does 1,000 milligrams and more of vitamin C cause cataracts? Read that some new studies have grounds for that. They believe that. No, I would like to take a look at that study. I'd like to take a look at that study, definitely. Simply because, vitamin C is one of the most underrated vitamins. It is overrated, but it is underrated in the sense that you hear doctors tell you, take a vitamin C, because doctors really don't tell people to take any vitamins, per se. The ones you might get away with, they'll tell you, take a little vitamin C, they'll give you a little B something. Well, again, you might get, boy. If you bounce up a good one, now you might get a little D3, but that's because of COVID. Before COVID, nobody really knew about D3. So that's about it. But the scope of nutrition is so much greater than that, and vitamin C is very, very, very important. I take 3,000 milligrams. So if vitamin C is to give you cataracts, I was supposed to have some big cataracts long time. I don't have no cataract. Although I could be a special case, but I don't believe so. As I said, I would have to go and look at it because there are a lot of new studies coming out now. You have to be careful. Look at who write this study. Yeah? There are some people who hell-bent on ensuring that somebody dead before their time. So the information is a bit distorted, which is always good to check and check and check and check. So if you are the research type person, I used to do a lot of research. I still do now, but based on my time, and I can only do so much now. But it is also, you know, a very good thing. I mean, a very good thing. Let me just make a comment here. Miss Claudia Savory, this is my very good client. She visits us in St. James, and she's a little out of the country right now. I don't want to give her too much of her business. She said coming home soon. I have good results from her doctor. She has very good results. She's a client of mine. She had gotten some very good results with me. She also mentioned the doctor had taken her off of her meds. So she's telling me thank you for all the medication that I would have given her. So you see, that's an ex-satisfied client there. So, you know, pay attention to what you need to do. So let's go back to the lines and see if we have any more questions there.
All right, so you can give us a call at 625-2759, 625-2759, or 624-7729. The lines are open, and Dr. Batson is here to take your calls. Morning, I want to know, is it right to eat food according to your blood type? And can the doc answer yes or no, please?
To tell you the honest truth, and I really need to do some research because I'm the type of person that is like a blab. I try not to open my mouth unless I know what I'm saying. Believe me. In all honesty, I believe that there's some measure of sense to that particular publication. I think the name of the book was Eating Right for Your Blood Type. However, I don't believe the information is 100% accurate, and I think it should not be taken as a revelation or, you know, whichever judgment rather I want to say. You know, because it's somewhere they mentioned talking about beef and that type of thing. The thing is, based on your biochemistry, certain foods will affect you based on even where your location. There are certain foods because of the excessive heat will affect you in a particular way, and certain foods because of the excessive cold would affect you in other ways. And I mean, that's like common sense, right? So as I said, I believe that they have something, but you need to know yourself. And the best way to answer this question, they are the foundation. Get the foundation right. And I believe once you get the foundation right, obviously everything else will be right. Get the foundation right. That is very, very important. What is your foundation? Your foundation is your base nutrients, your water. Too many of you all have dehydration. You are dehydrated as a result of the situation, and as a result of that, you don't understand how dehydration opens you up to so much problem. And flavored water is not water. Only to stop that nonsense. That have coloring in it. That could never be water. And coconut water is not water either. You cannot replace your regular drinking water with coconut water. You can't do that. You could do it, but you're going to end up in some problems. The hospital will eventually pick you up because the electrolytes, you're going to throw off that electrolyte balance in the body, because we know coconut water in itself already has electrolytes. So you need to be careful. You want to drink and you have a whole set of electrolytes there, and then it's because you start to destabilize your blood pressure. Your blood pressure either go very high or go very low. Because when you're dealing with the minerals, magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium. I'm missing out anybody, boy? Calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. Yeah, them fellas and them. You see them four fellas? They had to remain very good friends in the body. Because anytime they go out in some real problems, and that's something that a lot of us don't understand. We need to understand the relationship between those. Okay? So that's very important. Okay, so Miss Rachel Johnson is asking, you have a call there, Bossman?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, let me go to them, and then I'll tackle the Facebook question.
All right. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Please turn off your radio. Turn off your radio, please. Turn off.
Oh, what we have for hernias?
Yeah.
The thing, there's an internal drop that we usually carry. The problem with hernias, let me explain something to you quickly. What type of hernia is it? Abdominal hernia or hernia in your groin? So where? So it's close to your navel, or it closer to your private part? It's close to your navel? Private part. All right, so that's a groin hernia. It big? Is it big? Oh, well, then you have an easy one to do. What you need to do, you need to get some castor oil, the black Jamaican castor oil. And what you do with the castor oil, you heat it now. When I say heat it, you just heat it a little bit because you want it a little warm, right? Not to burn up your skin and stuff. And actually, now, let me be careful how I'm giving you this piece of advice here. Okay, so let me say it like this. Usually, if you rub in the correct direction with the castor oil, and when I say in the correct direction, you must be able to look at where the hernia is. So depending on how, if it bulged out a little bit, you must know where it came from. Right, that's the point I'm making, right? So what you're doing is you're rubbing or you're massaging in that direction, like you're trying to put it back, right? But you're not doing it rough, eh? You're not doing it rough. What I suggest you do as well, you could always call my office and get the number for the chiropractor that I usually recommend, and you could go and give him a check and call him, tell him I refer you, and he will sort you out from there. I wouldn't give his number over the radio. I already sent enough people to that gentleman. So what I will suggest you do is just call the office and no, this person is San Fernando. No, he on the East West Corridor side is St. Joseph.
I no problem.
Right. So just do that for me now. Here what to do. Send a message to 314 9975.
9975.
Yes, and just tell them you want the number for the chiropractor that Dr. Batson would recommend. You're welcome, sir.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. I've been having a problem for the longest while. Some years actually is that I used to gym in my early 20s or something. I'm 33 now, right? And what happened is that my muscle, I got a lot of pain in the muscles. Even when I try to exercise or do anything, I got a lot of pain in the muscle.
Right.
Also, start talking with acid reflux. I was a kid earlier on this year. It was really bad. There is almost sort of like fire actually in my chest. And all the little cramp and the little bad taste in my mouth and stuff, something like that. After the doctor, give me some medication, but the medication has now cleared way too messed up, so I ended up taking the medication.
But what was the diagnosis? Did he give you a diagnosis? Even though sometimes the diagnosis is not really important. He said it's what, sorry?
Acid reflux. For the
oh yeah.
Some problems in the chest and stuff.
Okay.
But my major concern is really the pain, my muscles and stuff. And thing lately I started to get like little tingles in the arms and the legs and the thighs and stuff and things like that.
Okay. And how young are you?
6'1", weigh roughly 150 pounds. Yeah.
How much? 6'1"?
Yeah, 6'1". Weight 250 pounds.
250?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have some size, man. All right. Well, the thing is, usually when you're having problems with acid reflux, that is gastrointestinal. There's a product that we carry at Batson Associates called Laminine Digestive. That's a product that has a probiotic, a prebiotic, and a digestive enzyme in it. I usually recommend that. People with acid reflux, there's some very good results, because one of the problems a lot of people don't understand with acid reflux doesn't necessarily mean that you have too much acid. That's what people think it is, but that's not what it is. In some cases, it could also mean that you do not have the body producing sufficient levels of hydrochloric acid, and as a result of that, you have poor digestion of your food, primarily your proteins from your meats and those type of things, because that's what the body uses the hydrochloric acid to to break down. So there are some things that we can recommend.
Because for the last 2 years, I could barely digest anything. I feel it after about half an hour to hour, this is what I eat.
Yeah.
I feel it like it's indigest, like that.
And when was the last time you take a detox? When last you take a clean out?
A while. Never.
Yeah.
I'm trying to detox was a tea from somebody that put the reviews, a lot of the reviews.
Right.
So, but I didn't take it to describe as what I intake
You usually people think correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say you could come and get some Santulan, but you have to make sure and use it correct. I would suggest the Alcogen. How much water you drink for the day?
Roughly, probably about 1 liter or less, not much.
Oh God, nah, man. So you see, one, you're dehydrated. So the first thing you want to do is study water. Go to Batson Associates or call for delivery and tell them you want 3 bottles of water. That is now $1 million. And start with that. And I'm telling you, just with that alone, you'll start to feel better. Because you see, the thing is, that's what I said in the beginning. Once the foundation strong, you don't have a problem, but your foundation terrible. So you go in and build on that now, and anything on that is going to be compromised. You understand what I'm saying? You're dehydrated. You're supposed to be drinking your body weight divided by 2 ounces. Based on what you tell me there, your half of that you're supposed to be looking at about what, 125 pounds. I mean 125 ounces. You should be drinking no less than 2.5 liters. You're supposed to be drinking up to about 3, almost 4 liters of water for the day.
Okay.
So you're seriously dehydrated. That's one of your problems. So what you have now is that acid reflux situation. So you're going to have a lot of flatulence, a lot of gas, bloating, belching, correct?
Yeah.
Right. And what about constipation? Sometimes?
Nah.
You're good in that area.
Yeah.
I hear you. Well, sometimes being good in that area could be if you eat plenty. Sorry, repeat that? You don't have a problem with that. Okay, well, we need to deal with the other ones, man. And you need a cleanse too. You can't be, how old you say is?
I'm 33 years old.
Yeah, it's have 33 years you live and you do a cleanse. You must clean out when you was 5 before you leave, when you was home. But after that, like 30 years. So check everything think of all the things you eat for the last 20 years. All of that past there. And then nobody come after to clean up. You're going to be in some trouble. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my suggestion. Alcogen water first, and you do the alcogen water for anywhere between 2 weeks to a month. Use about 8 glass, 10 glass, and that will start to get the acid out. Because the thing is, if you go to use that Santulan one time, you're going to be in problems. You can't use Santulan now. You'll end up in healing crisis. So you'll either get things that come out of your skin, you'll get headache. So you have to do the water first, and then after the water, you do the Santulan and the digestive. You could start the digestive and the water. But Santulan will have to be like about 2 weeks to a month afterwards. And I'm telling you, you'll be very satisfied with the results here.
All right, thanks a lot, doctor.
No problem, sir.
And before we continue, I just want you to reiterate, just not just for that particular caller, but for those listening, just how important it is to
lower your
one, be hydrated.
Yes.
Before you take on the process of the
cleansing.
detox.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to mention that, and that's why I always reiterate water, because I mean all natural practitioners would learn about healing crisis. They should, depending on which school they went to. There are a lot of books. Most of those books have it inside of there, or what is known as Hexaminer syndrome. So that is just a big term to mean that toxins. You see, what you have to understand, your body's a warehouse, you know. Now, the good thing about it, your body's a warehouse for a number of things. Your body stores a lot of things until it is able to be utilized or when your body needs it. So, an example of that is what? Glucose. So, your body stores sugar, your body stores fat. Your body stores different types of hormones or produces different types of hormones. Some hormones may be kept in storage depending on the intricacy of whatever organ system it belongs to and that type of thing. What happens is that and your bone, for example, your bones are the warehouses for calcium. Calcium can only get into your bloodstream via your thyroid. Your thyroid is the gland that passes that information to allow your bones to move calcium from your bones into your bloodstream. So people, for example, with hyperthyroidism could actually end up with osteoporosis because the thyroid now being overactive is sending too much calcium to the blood. And then you could end up with a medical term of excess calcium in your blood. I can't remember the correct terminology for it, or the terminology for it right now. But the point I'm making is that those are instances where you have too much. So the body could also store toxins. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Your liver is the master of that. In fact, your liver plays a significant role in the storage of toxins and the removal of toxins from the body, you know, because your liver is hold certain things and wait for ample time when your body is functioning in a particular way in order for it to remove it from the system. Look at the different functions of your liver. So the thing is, if you have toxins stored there, when you start to clean, you have to know how you're cleaning. You know, you can't just go and clean like a madman or a madwoman. It's like you're living in a house and the house pack up, you just start pelting all about the place. Nobody can function in there. You have to gradually. So and usually whenever we clean our houses, we clean with some level of sense, right? You start, whether you start from the some people, you're supposed to start from the front first, go up, or depending, you might do the bedrooms, and then, because if you just start to pack everything in the corridor, then you can't move. You understand what I'm saying? So the same applies to when you're doing cleansing and detox. That's why a lot of people may have had bad experiences with cleansing, but it's not that the product wasn't good enough. Maybe the people who made the product just didn't know to, you know, maybe highlight sufficient things. So sometimes they tell you, like for example, if you see fiber, these fiber supplements, like if you go and buy psyllium or you buy metamucil and those kind of fiber things, what's the first thing you see big on it? Drink lots of water. Because when you start to take that fiber, if you do not drink sufficient water, hospital will take you up, you know. That fiber would block up your intestines and could cause problems, rupture, and all kind of things can happen to you. So that is why they tell you to drink a lot of water. So on the flip side of that, what you have with Santulan, which is what I always tell persons, because Santulan is a product that I have used. I have used Santulan, using Santulan over what, about 15 years now. So if I could tell anybody anything about Santulan, I know, and the thing with Santulan is when you drink it, it gives everybody a different timing. So some people drink Santulan, you get bowel movement 4 hours after. Some people is 8 hours. Me, I'm 12 hours. I know myself good. So I would drink Santulan like about 4 or 5 o'clock. So I know when I work, I sit down, I can't be in an appointment with all and I start to sweat day all I want. So I'm going to Dr.Batson, and because I get up at it, you understand? So usually to use the Santulan, let me just give a quick review fast here. So with Santulan, what is Santulan? Santulan is a 7-channel detox. It cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. Ingredient profile, Santulan has 11 ingredients. One is Nigella sativia, which is black seed, which you know is like the cure for everything. There are a number of things in that. It also has marshmallow, which is very good for your circulatory system. It has persimmon leaves, which is revered in Chinese medicine for proper pulmonary function and cleaning out your arteries, your veins, that type of thing. It has blessed thistle and holy thistle, which we know is a master for the liver. So the ingredient profile is pretty good. Now, in terms of using the product is a liquid product. So it's 3 tea bags that would essentially give you 1 gallon of tea. How much is a gallon? A gallon is equivalent to 4 liters. So what you need to do, you get a 4-liter bottle. If you have the ones that we have, which we sell in the water in, that is 5 liters. Usually all you need to do, if you must have something to measure home in your house. Usually the 4 liters is like when the bottle start to make that sort of belly there. So right there, that line. So what you do, you fill that with your water, you take out about a cup or 2 cups out of it. You put the 2 cups to boil, so you put aside the remainder water in the bottle and leave it right there. The 2 cups of water you put to boil, when it comes to a rolling boil, you turn off the stove and you take all 3 of the tea bags, sorry, all 3 tea bags, all, not 1, not 2, but 3, all 3 of them, because some ladies do all their own thing, you know. Or let's take 1 bag. A woman tell me, Dr. Batson, my fridge is a small fridge, so I didn't have a big bottle, so I take the 3 tea bags and I divide a gallon by 3, and I put 1 tea bag to that and drink that. I say, Mary, you mix up the thing. Now, Mary is what is called woman who just give plenty trouble. So I said, Mary, you're not listening. That is not the instruction. The instruction is to take all 3 bags, 1, 2, 3, and you put them to steep in the hot water and you cover it down there, not for 1, not for 2, not for 3, not for 4, not for 5, not for 6, not for 7, but for 8 hours. So you don't want to sit down and watch the clock and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could just leave it, go in your bed in the night, leave it to steep, and when you get up in the morning now, your tea done steep. So you have a tea steep here in your container. Make sure you don't put it in plastic. You use either stainless steel, you use a Pyrex dish or something like that. Good? And I don't think all you have aluminum pot in all your house still. If all you have that, all you want some licks. Show that and go and buy some proper pot. Spend some money. Right? So when you do that now, you take the tea bags from here and you throw it into the remainder water, which will now bring you back to what? A gallon of tea with 3 tea bags floating around inside it. Do not throw away your tea bags. And you're taking that and you put it inside of your refrigerator. Now, if you have a small fridge, what you could do is maybe get two 2-liter bottles, and you put it in that, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. You want to take the cleanse. Miss Moses, good morning. Miss Moses says she hopes she's not a Mary. Use a semi Mary, semi. Joke I'm making. Pleasant good morning, my dear. Yeah. So you have that there now, you put it in the fridge. Now, Santulan, as it regards to how to put this, boy. So we have particular people here or persons. So I'll give an example of a person and an equal as to how much Santulan you're supposed to use. So if you know you're working in oil and gas, if you know you have a weight concern, usually overweight people, and this is no offense to anybody, you need to lose weight, right? Overweight people would need to use more Santulan, and I'll tell you why. Because some of y'all, well, I shouldn't say overweight, I should say the condition of your bowels. Because it have some people, and I've seen slim, nice ladies, you all look very healthy and nice on the outside, but God alone knows what's going on the inside with some of you. I tell them when all you're courted now, be careful, carry them women and men for medical checkup, because they could be marrying problems, real problems. And you know, yeah, sickness and in health, richer for poorer. Remember the vows, right? Good. So when you do that, you would realize now that they may have to drink the Santulan 4 glasses. So in that case, we'll tell them drink 2 8-ounce glasses, which is 16 ounces at 11, and then drink 2 8-ounce glasses at about 5. Now, Santulan is ideally used on an empty stomach. What is an empty stomach? An empty stomach is when your stomach, so some people believe the stomach only empty when they get up in the morning. That don't make sense, right? Technically, and I'll tell you why, because we have to look at how long your food takes to digest. Now, usually, if you eat fruits digest very quickly. Salads would digest pretty quickly too. The foods that take the longest to digest is what? Protein. So sugars usually digest first, then it's sugars, fats, carbs, protein. I think I have it in somewhere in that order, right? So the thing with that now is that if you had a big meal, so let's say you had pie and you eat salad and you eat chicken and rice and that kind of thing, a meal like that you're looking at about 3 hours. So essentially your stomach is an empty stomach is anywhere between 30 minutes before a meal, 45 minutes before a meal. But remember, if you're going to drink Santulan and you're going to drink a 16 ounce, in half an hour, you mightn't be hungry yet. So usually I would tell people give it about an hour and a half. So if you drink the Santulan 5, it means you can have your meal like about 6:30, right? And if you're doing it 11, then you may have to have lunch like about maybe what? That is carrying us to 12:30, right? So that is what you do. There are some people, they only could use 1 glass of Santulan. But remember, they don't have no cement and concrete and all kind of debris inside of them. So it depends on the individual that we're dealing with. So in that particular sense, then we would adjust it. So somebody might use it first and I might say, Dr. Batson, I used 2 glasses of this thing and I was in the toilet too much. So in that case, we say, here what? 1 glass for you. Somebody might say, I drink my 1 glass and I waiting to see what happened. And you find it a lot with husband and wife couples. I had a couple, the husband, he man drink 1 glass of Santulan and uncle in a gear. Tanti, they quarreling. She say, I drink 2 glasses, Dr. Batson. Nothing happened to me. And my husband drink it. What wrong with me? I said, well, you must have a little cement inside there. So I tell her, I say, here, what? Drink 4 glasses. You know, when she drank the 2 glasses, 11 o'clock, and the 2 glasses, 5 o'clock, she said, Dr. Batson, fireworks the next morning. He thinks that'll work. So it depends on the individual. Now, as it relates to weight loss, let me make this point quickly. A lot of people who are very slim, and these ladies, these old, well, more mature ladies now come in and tell Dr. Batson, I don't want nothing to make me lose weight, and I'm losing weight again small. So Santulan wouldn't necessarily make you lose weight. It will make you lose waste. Because a lot of people overweight because of the waste, W-A-S-T-E, that they have in them, and not necessarily W-E-I-G-H-T. So not necessarily a weight problem that you have, but you have a waste problems.
All right, so how do you, yes, it is easy to differentiate if we spell it and we tell you, well, all right,
good.
Toxins that we get rid of.
Right.
But if somebody wants to lose weight,
right,
is it that one, we must lose waste first and then work on, let's just say, the actual exercise element of it, or we're working in conjunction with it to lose weight to
lose, right. I get you.
So somebody comes to your office and says, Doc, here's the way, I will lose weight.
Right.
You say, listen, I hear you.
Right.
Here's the Santulan. you're going to lose waste
Right.
because we're going to detox the system here.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say they come back for their follow-up appointment now, and then they say, but doc, spend the time in the bathroom, I would have sweat, all kind of thing. I feel healthier,
right,
but yet I still weigh
X amount. Okay, good. That's a very good question. Okay, so good. So what people have to understand too, you can lose inches and not necessarily lose pounds. So I'll say that again. You can lose inches and not necessarily lose pounds. Because you have to understand fat, which weighs more, fat or muscle? Muscle. Muscle weighs more. So a lot of the times you may be losing fat now, but that you base, especially a lot of people when they're doing exercises. So you're now putting on muscle. So the muscle, because it weighs more, you would have lost fat though. But you see the scale still saying 150, but you realize how you know a lot of the times is, and that happens a lot with Santulan, where you lose inches and not necessarily weight. Now the people with the weight loss now, I know I don't want to say anything because I know the amount of them was you want to kill me right now. Because I have a weight loss product that I promised you all, which has finished a long time ago. It is not my fault. But it's just we getting certain things done with food and drug and that kind of thing. Right? That is a process. Right? So that's the reason why. But that is one that, you know, the way to do it. Someone is asking, do you drink the Santulan cold or do you reheat it or heat it? I don't suggest you heating it. I mean, some people like to do it because they like to drink teas hot. What I suggest you do, what I do, I just take it out like about an hour before I'm going to drink it, or I carry it with me in a bottle to work, and then I drink it, especially if I know I would be in the office. So I would drink it thawed out, room temperature, as opposed to drinking it cold. Because, of course, I am not an advocate of drinking a lot of cold situation. Right? So those numbers, again, let me just give you that. Those telephone numbers, again, are 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And our locations, we are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. We are also on the corner of Ramsey Road Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Davie, as well as Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James, and the Triangle building in Scarborough, Tobago. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates. So I hope that that help persons with the Santulan situation. Women or persons, if you know you are anemic, meaning blood count low, you have problems with your period, you bleed a lot, you feel cold quickly, you like to eat plenty ice, your blood pressure, your top number, which is your systolic number, is usually very low. It means your blood count is low. I don't care what doctor you go to. I've had people who come to me and give me blood. There was a young lady I dealt with just recently. When the young lady came, the young lady blood pressure was 75 over, what it was, boy, 80. I was like, I was shocked. I said, well, how come you walking? I said, but you have low blood count. She was like, yeah. So for a revisit, she had to come back and see us 2 weeks after. And when she did the pressure was 101. So I was like, whoa, you see, you started getting improvement already because the blood count started to go up. And she was feeling a little better. The energy level came up. She was able to sleep a little better, that type of thing. But usually, if you have very low blood pressure, Trinidad and Tobago, it is a key indication that you have low blood count. I do not care if you went and you do a blood test, and the blood test said that your blood count is good. How? Because you have to understand, when we're looking at blood tests and blood count, a lot of the times, there are certain factors that should be taken into consideration that are not taken into consideration. And I have seen this. Because when you're dealing with low blood count, you have to understand blood is very, not complicated, but it's very diverse. And diverse in its ingredient profile and what is required of the body in order to maintain to be very healthy, right? Or to maintain healthy blood levels. So, you know, red blood cells are produced where? In your bone marrow, right? Yes. But a lot of people think that they have to remove your bone marrow or do a bone marrow transplant. No. Why do you want to give me a bone marrow transplant for? Why? Because you think I have cancer? You think I have leukemia or some sort of bone cancer? Go back to the almost the genesis or, you know, mid part of our conversation. What is one of the things that I said? Your bones are supposed to be of a particular density. Your bones are also are supposed to be of a particular makeup in terms of your osteocytes and different bone cells. So people who have bone problem, you don't need to go and change your bone. Why you want to go and change your bone for? That making sense? What you need to do is fix the situation that you have there. Let me say something quickly. That product that we carry at Batson and Associates called Silver Formula, which has colloidal silver in it. Let me be a little controversial this morning. Miss Barbara Alain, my dear, pleasant good morning to you. And I do have your product, my dear. The office will call you next week. Thank you very much for the good morning. And yes, I'll be safe. Yeah. So it means in that particular situation, you have to ensure that that entire aspect associated with the bones is in good health. So in other words, if you have faulty bones, you could have faulty blood. And just as I gave the example, because a lot of people don't understand that when you look at the aspect of gastrointestinal health, so there's a particular, to tell you how your gut is so important. Let me give you an example of two diseases. There is a disease known as Chagas disease, right? You could research it. Chagas disease is when a particular pathogen, now remember pathogens can either be one of 5 things, right? It could either be a bacteria, fungus, virus, protozoa, or worms. Good? Now, the thing with pathogens and arthritis and with Chagas disease is this is a particular bacteria or fungus rather that actually leaves the intestine. So look how this fella has sense. So he decided he's going to leave your intestines and he's going to make a very long journey. So he's taking a trip. He have a passport, he have visa, he's traveling. And Mr. Gentleman is going to burrow through your intestines quite easily and he's going to get into your bloodstream. And once he gets into the bloodstream, he has a pathway to go where? Any and everywhere. But this particular fella have a taste. You know, there's a men, you like particular type of fish, particular type of, like me, I like someone, love. Right? So you have a particular lightness for a particular something. This particular pathogen has no other lightness but something known as your myocardium. You know what is your myocardium? Your myocardium is the muscles on which organ? That's the muscles on your heart. So this particular pathogen is going to leave your intestines and make a very long trip to your heart. And then he's going to find himself in the heart. And you know what he's going to start to do? He is going to start to eat the muscles of your heart. And eventually, you should die eventually. I have dealt with someone like that and they're still alive, even though the doctors told them that they should be dead for 4 months subsequent to coming to me. And I dealt with them maybe like 5 years ago. And they're still alive as far as I know. Right? But there's also a particular condition known as toxoplasmosis. Now, this you don't want. I mean, you don't want Chagas disease either, but this one is a special bad fella. Here, what does this do? This is leave your intestines, get into your bloodstream, and this fella is going to make an even longer journey. So he go in and he pass in your heart, and you know which part he going? He going up to the back of your eyes. And he considers your eye a delicacy. And the fella is going to start to eat the back of your eyes. Go and research it. It is called toxoplasmosis. I've dealt with people like that already. And the person that came to me, they came to me from abroad. They deal with all kinds of specialists. And watch now, when we were finished with them, they were very satisfied with the results. As far as I know, because we do try our best to keep in touch with our clients, but we don't run down people. You know, we deal with you get better. You know, when you get better, we don't see you for a long time. But I just tell people, get better. And try and, you know, visit us once in a while. You don't come and see me all the time because, you know, to see Dr.Batson is a long, long line and you have to wait and that kind of thing. We have Ms. Ramdan, we have Mr. Green, we have Mr. Bustamante coming up nicely, and we have 3 other persons by next year. Please God, we're going to have them on, you know, so there's a system in place, right? And I will try my best to see as much people as I can humanly see, right? Or interact with you. We're going to start to do our online. So I would actually start to do online within Trinidad in offices. So I could be in Chagonas and do consultations in both Chagonas and Debe. And, you know, we're trying to work out the system and make it as practical as possible, you know, because some people, you will not always be able to sit down in front of me. Even though I like to do that with everybody, I can't do it with everybody, right? But my thing is, I want you to get results. I want when you come, you could comfortably say, hey, watch my come by Batson and Associates, you know, this was my experience and I felt better. You know, that's what we want. And not only that, have empirical data that shows that you have gotten better, because we have had a lot of clients that have come to us and we have the results. I just recently had a young individual who came to me with some preposterous, Watchman, that's one of the most ridiculous diagnoses I ever seen in my life. And I don't understand how they came up with that diagnosis. Because let me tell you something, they have something called a dustbin diagnosis. So let me tell you quickly what dustbin diagnosis is. So dustbin diagnosis is when you go by the doctor. You tell the doctor, here what doctor, I can't sleep, you know. I can't sleep. I have depression, I have anxiety, thing going wrong with me, all kind of thing wrong with my head hurting me. The doctor run the test, do blood test. They take care, they push in something looking like our when we say we're gonna do a CT scan, computer tomography, come out nice. Then he say, we're gonna do an MRI. We do MRI. Then we do blood tests. We do full range of blood tests. I have seen it all. And they come and they still tell you, we check all we check, and we not seeing you sick. But you telling the doctor, hey, I'm sick, I'm not sleeping. Here the dustbin diagnosis. You mad. Come and take some tablets, take a sleeping tablet, take some depression medication and go your way. And that is what I just call a trash diagnosis. You're talking rubbish. You need to go back. Let me tell you something. If you feeling sick, you're sick, you're not mad. You're not mad. Even people who they say they're mad, let me tell you something. Plenty of them people are mad. You know? But what happened is that the body didn't have the sufficient, where's the word, boy? It didn't have the sufficient fuel to deal with certain things when you're going through stress. You remember last week I spoke about that? Where I said that once you run in company, you ask anybody who's any businessman. Ask them. Them just be mad people. I mean, there's our money. Nobody is saying no, but sometimes you're dead and leave all the money there because you're sick, because you're stressed, you're staff, you're this, you're HR, then sometimes you're workers, they're gone labor board for you, pour you and do nothing. You being a good boss trying to think, and there's people that's coming in your workplace and play the fool. So you have plenty stress. And then if you're working in the government, you have plenty stress there too. So if you do not have the proper resources, and you know it how to take care of yourself, you know what's going to happen to you? They're going to tell you have depression, you have anxiety. You know why? Because your body under wear and tear. Think about it. If you're running taxi, so I run in taxi from Port of Spain to Barataria. I have a B15 or a Datsun to ATC. And I have a next man working from Port of Spain to San Fernando, who have to spend more money on maintenance. You had to be a mathematician to understand that. Obviously, the man who working from Port of Spain to San Fernando, because the distance is a longer distance, the vehicle is going to be under more wear and tear. So if mentally you under wear and tear, you stress out, you dealing with children, you dealing with a husband, you're working in a place where you don't like nobody don't like you. So when you go there, you ain't really feeling comfortable, you ain't happy. That's wear and tear. So that's when you need things like Nerve Restore, you need Optimizer, you need Alkagen water. Because let me tell you something, if you don't take care of yourself, eventually, you know they have a saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that's all it is, you know. And that's why I tell persons, if you're an athlete, let me make this point fast before we continue. Yeah. If you do not take care of yourself and pay attention to those things, I tell you, the man also pick you up. Easy. I have met people, you see this thing they call OCD? Not OCD, sorry. OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder, not that. I want to say PMS. Just recently, this week, I have a woman, or a female client, sorry, who she had PMS. Now, poor lady don't know she had PMS. But when she come to me, and she started explaining herself, and I watching how she moving and thing, I said, you know, your hormones are your hormones. Because let me tell you something. You know what this causes women to end up with PMS? You all know what PMS is, right? Post-menopausal syndrome. You all know what are the diagnosis or the symptomology that goes along with that, right? What are the symptomology? Depression, anxiety, insomnia, emotional upheaval. So you good, you know, wedding, people married, everybody dancing, people happy, and you crying. Nobody interfered you, nobody last you. You're getting weakness all in your knees, all in your legs, weak. You can't stand up. You're feeling like you're going mad. That is PMS. Now, PMS is brought about by what? An endocrine problem that has now caused a hormonal problem that has now caused a nervous problem. So your nerves wreck. And let me tell you something. We see when your nerves wreck, that's the worst. That is when you just feel all kind of thing going wrong. You feel like things walking on you can't sleep in the night, all kind of thing going on with you. You think people do your bad, all kind of thing. You might go and check yourself. However, you know how to check yourself. Right? But that is a serious thing. So it's a matter of understanding something has to be wrong. If you're not feeling well, you're not well. Now we have the people who they have a different situation where they just want to be sick for attention and things. That's a whole different kettle of fish there. But generally, majority of people are not like that. Because I have had people who came to me, there was this particular lady I dealt with. They didn't know what was going on with this woman. And from the time she come in that door and I watched how that woman was moving, I say, Miss Lady, I say, your nerves wreck. I say, you in a mess. And when I watch the diet, Mary drinking coffee every day. She's Mary squared. Why? You know you're sick with your nerves, you're drinking coffee. You have to be a mad woman.
Right.
You
that leads to like, I know there's a state that you can get to, chronic fatigue.
Chronic fatigue syndrome, which is one of the most hardest diagnoses to get. But a lot of people are suffering from chronic, just like I was talking about adrenal fatigue, which kind of similar to that. So a lot of persons have those problems, and you know, it's just as what we say at Batson and Associates and how we encompass natural and integrated medicine, where the objective a lot of times is not a symptomology. So even though I may use the word symptomology is just being used as a reference to what we're discussing, first, so that the audience will understand the discussion that we're having. But a lot of the times, go again to the simple analogy I gave you. It's not the mosquito, it's the stagnant water. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of you walking around with some pathogens inside of you. I made friend with a very interesting gentleman recently who works in biofield and resonance, and that's a whole different level of science. But it's not that hard to understand. It's simply a matter of understanding that frequency affects the human body, right? There's a reason why loud noises affects dogs in a different way than it would affect human beings, right? Because that particular frequency, so we know sound and light and all those things have a different frequency at which they operate, right? Lightning, thunder, which is why, if I say it correct, boy, I wonder if I should say this, if I remember off the top of my head. Which one travels faster, boy? I think sound travels faster than light, is it, boy? Or is it light that travels faster than sound?
Light travels faster than sound.
I think light travels faster than sound, which is why you see lightning before you hear thunder. Yes, that is it. Good. So what you have to understand with frequency is that pathogens operate at frequency too, you know. Frequency affects everything, you know. So there are certain frequencies that at which pathogens cannot function. So if you could create an environment where this frequency is present, and that's why the food detox that we do at Batson and Associates, there are a lot of people who don't believe in food detox and say, but that's a hoax and you're putting any water. And okay. Let me tell you something. I doing food detox about 10 to maybe 12 years now. Watch me. We don't put nothing in that water. Don't let nobody fool you with that. Because you have to understand, the largest pores in your body are found where? On their feet. On their feet, largest pores. And the thing is, pathogens have what polarity? All pathogens are positively charged. Pathogens, well, no, some, yes, pathogens as well as toxins carry a particular polarity. And so what you have to do, you have to create an opposite polarity, which is negativity, in order to draw it out of the body. It's the same like when you do foot soaks with Epsom salt. Epsom salt is what? Magnesium sulfate? Yeah. Baking soda is what? Sodium bicarbonate? Right. So when you do that now, because the pores are open, the mechanism of action of that magnesium sulfate is now going to start. So it creates an environment that is conducive to removing toxins from the body. So the same thing with food. So everything that you do, you could either create balance or create imbalance. And Miss Cindy Hoyt made a very valid point where she talked about negative ions. That's a big part of science that plenty people don't know. In negative, there's something known as 0-point field energy. At 0-point field energy, pain cannot exist. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it must be nice in truth. Eh? So let me give you those telephone numbers again. You can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. Let me make mention of this. We do now have the Equilibrium brand of molasses available. Very, very reasonably priced. And it's 16 ounce. So those of you who have to get your molasses, we're now carrying it because I sent so much people to get molasses and they had problems getting it. So we got high quality unsulfured blackstrap molasses. That's the standard that you want, right? And we also have oximeters available as well. Those oximeters, I think they were doing it in some package, so I have to clarify. and I'll let you know the price because we're going to run an ad on Facebook. But the oximeters is that little device that you take and it tells you your oxygen levels. Now, that's very important for persons who have had COVID, as well as persons who, you want to always, because that's one of the ways, that will save your life. Once you have an oximeter, you're able to check your oxygen levels. And if it is, you see in your level at a particular, is it under 96, boy, or under 83? Somewhere around there. I'll get the figure for you. Once you see it going on a particular way, you know that's hospital business. You need to rush it to a hospital or get some oxygen machine, a ventilator, or something like that for you. So that's a nice piece of equipment to have around the house that your family could use. We have it reasonably priced. It's not expensive, but I'm going to place that ad for you all, and I'm going to let you know exactly what is the going-ons with that.
All right. Let's get some messages on the inside here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How important is eating meat to your body?
How important is eating meat to your body? Meat is important, Could you be a vegetarian and healthy? Be healthy? Yes. Could you be vegan and healthy? Yes. However, you have to play a lot of catch-up in the sense that your nutrients, you must source specific nutrients from specific foods, right? Mushrooms is one, because there's, for example, chaga, tuchui, ganoderma, different mushrooms. Mushrooms usually have high amounts of protein in them. So it can help persons who are vegan, vegetarian. As it relates to meat itself, it has some specific purpose as it relates to the protein, primarily, right? Those proteins are easy, but the thing is, you have so much other things to consider because meat, for example, especially if it's processed, you could end up in problems. So I always believe in finding some particular balance as regards to that particular thing. When you're using meat, ease up on the red meat. We know that too much of that is not good. The leaner white meat is better. Your meat should either be steamed, grilled, baked. If you're frying, you use a better choice oil, like your grapeseed or coconut oil, if you could tolerate the flavor, that type of thing. But ideally, steam, grill, bake. You don't want too much of stew, too much of barbecue is out of the question. That's just opening up yourself to a lot of cancer. So you don't want that. And in that particular case, it means that you need to organize that your meals around that whole sort of principle or process there. All right, yes, Ms. Rachel Johnson. Let me just say this quickly. The collagen and arthritis. Okay, I'll talk about it just now. Go ahead.
I want to remind folks that the program starts a little after 9, so you need to get in early so we don't have to recap and continue to repeat what we've been saying earlier. All right, so get in early and get your questions here early so that when Dr. Batson touches on the topic, I don't feel like if we take away from another question. All right, what can we do to increase the blood count?
Blood count. Apart from what we have at Batson, from a home perspective, sweet potato is a good thing. Sweet potato is actually very good. Sweet potato, green figs. What again, boy? The purple leaf does actually work too, even though I help with platelets as well as the blood count. And nutrient-dense greens. The problem is a lot of us don't consume sufficient amount of greens. We don't, our diet. When you look at what the human diet was really supposed to, as opposed to what we have before us as options, we kind of woefully undernourished. The world, in fact, I was looking at an article recently where they were talking about the nutrition crisis. The most extensive study that has ever been done on nutrition in the world is the China study. And that study is extensive, very extensive. They looked at, the relationship between calcium in the body and magnesium and different things. And it showed that, persons, because their diet lacks of nutrient-dense food, which is why I advocate the use of sea moss so much, because sea moss is a nutrient-dense food. It consists of a lot of minerals. The problem with a lot of us is that we are not consistent with the things that we're supposed to be consistent with. I'll say it again. We are not consistent with the things that we are supposed to be consistent with. There was something I posted on Facebook last week. When I saw it, I loved it so much. One of the things it said is that consistency is what makes the difference between mediocrity and, I think they were saying, excellence. So it was just showing you to understand that once you're consistent with something, you're going to get the results that you want to get. And the same applies to health. I know it's difficult to maintain, to be very healthy all the time. especially if you're working out and you have to buy food, and it's practical. Sometimes even me, as much as I know, sometimes I may fall victim to not eating on time, sometimes depending on the amount of appointments I have, but I make sure I have my hot teas and whatever, or the day that I know is a heavy day is a day I would do my intermittent fasting, so I would not necessarily have to eat. So I try and work around it, and that's what you guys have to do. You have to work around it, because what are you going to say? Where I work in, only a bad thing to eat and continue eating it? That don't make any sense. So what? You just say where you're working, kill you? That don't make any sense. You need to make the necessary changes, and that's why you need to do a little cleanse, a little this, a little that. Stack the odds in your favor.
Mm-hmm. All right, Doc. If you have a deficiency of zinc and
glutathione, right? Yeah, no problem.
What can you recommend? Person also says that the inflammation is high in their stomach, and they're also asking what can you use for, I want to believe it's gallbladder flush. That's what they have here.
Gallbladder flush?
Oh, so I guess they want to clean the gallbladder.
Oh, a gallbladder flush. Okay, yeah. Flush, yeah. I know that. So right, yeah. Okay, zinc. You're looking at things like your nuts, grains, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds, cashew. Crayfish, just have that in it. Glutathione is the master antioxidant. We actually sell a glutathione supplement. I use it a lot for cancer patients too. Very good for helping cancer, because glutathione is the master antioxidant. Without glutathione is usually produced in your liver. So some people have very low glutathione levels, and as a result of that, your master antioxidants, which is glutathione, the other antioxidants, don't function well. So like your vitamin C, astaxanthin, those type of things, they need proper glutathione in order to function properly. So if you have a glutathione deficiency, you're going to have, it means your liver needs some addressing. And if you're looking at doing a gallbladder flush, Santulan will help as well. I'm actually working on bringing a gallbladder flush as well. I know olive oil works very good for the gallbladder. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of rough skin lemon, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You mix all those together and you drink that every day. Right? That does help. That helps, sorry. All right. Next question, sir.
All right. So someone is checking up on your homework. You were supposed to get back.
Oh, God, Lord.
Some feedback on idiopathic intracranial hypertension. You're supposed to get back to that.
I was supposed to get back to that. Yeah, I know. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. So they also want your views on the use of black seed oil, but I know you mentioned that the only thing it really doesn't cure is death.
Yeah.
And so they go on to say, my husband has a tumor at the head of the pancreas, and doctors want to do a Whipple. What should he be doing to help his body in the interim?
Just to repeat that, what the doctors want to do, what?
A Whipple. A Whipple.
A Whipple? That's an acronym for something? What was the first part of the question?
There's a tumor at the head of the pancreas.
Oh, okay. Well, I would imagine a Whipple, which I am not too familiar with, is some sort of surgical procedure. The thing is, contrary to Western medicine, doctors think when you have cysts and fibroids and growths and tumors that they need to go in and dig it out. Whereas we don't really prescribe for that. We look at reducing the inflammation, because once you reduce the inflammation, you can reduce or remove cysts and tumors and those type of things. So
exactly the removal of the head of the pancreas.
Oh, remove the head of the pancreas itself. Pancreatic duoden. Oh, okay. So they're removing the pancreatic.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want to do that? I'm going to have to get more details where that is concerned. If it is infected, it is inflamed as a result, and you reach the point where it is an emergency, all well and good, but you need to be very careful. I tell people, not all surgery, not all things need to be dealt with surgery, but the surgeon wouldn't tell you that. At the end of the day, sometimes, I'm not saying that they're dishonest in all instances, but I'm just saying, they have to get paid, so you need to get your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth opinion. So in a case like that, at least send some information or see if you can get a consultation with us, and I should be able to help you. But I don't believe in removing anything. If it is you reach a point where it's emergency, as I said, you have no choice in the matter. It's to save the physical body, well, then no choice, but no other choice. Well, then we have to go with that. But if that is not the case, well, then you can have room for, certain things being corrected where that is concerned.
All right, so next up, someone says, my 23-year-old son complains of pains in his left arm. He says it is a throbbing pain in the inside of the upper arm, the upper area of the arm. Can the doctor say what can cause it, and are there any home remedies?
Okay, so he has a throbbing pain.
A throbbing pain in the left arm, upper left arm.
That might be that could be very careful. That could be cardiovascular, or it could also be acid reflux. Acid reflux has a tendency of mirroring cardiovascular concerns. My best thing to that, have they done any tests? Did they go and do an ultrasound? Did they do an MRI? Did they do a CT scan? I mean, to get those things in the public hospitals are a bit difficult, especially now with COVID. And private is, because a CT scan not cheap, MRI is not cheap either. When they're doing contrast, depending on what they're using, So I would go, possibility exists, maybe they just need a cleanse. I don't know what the blood pressure would normally read. It could be indications of cardiovascular. So I would say it's either cardiovascular, which are indication of poor circulation, or it could be gastrointestinal, where it's leaning towards acid reflux, something along there. All right. As it relates to the intracranial hypertension, that has to do with a tumor that is actually causing the blood pressure to be high in the brain. So what you find in a case like that, then we need to release that pressure up there. So there are things that we could recommend to actually correct that situation. I knew based on some of the words, I kind of had a fair idea what it was, but I didn't want to open my mouth and not be sure. So that is what it really is, where the blood pressure is, or the pressure rather, is high in the cerebral hemisphere as a result of some sort of tumor somewhere. Because the thing is, if you have tumors, depending, like for example, if you have pituitary tumors, which is pituitary here, you find that it can affect the eye. So some people, if they have pituitary tumors, they end up, and this is not being, kicks or anything, they end up like cookie eye, or it end up affecting the vision and all these type of things. That which is why cleansing is so important and detoxifying is so important. Listen to me. There is a remedy, a product, ingredient to deal with any possible sickness people could come up with. Take my advice. Take my advice. It's a lot of the times we just need to deal with the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem. Stop drinking cold water. Start to drink more water. Men, check your prostate at least every 3 years, and nobody have to do any finger tests on you. It have so much things you could do now. Don't use that as an excuse for sitting down there and playing foolish, and then, according to the old people, water more than flour, right? So you all understand that saying properly, right? If you're baking, to people who just bake bread and thing, if you throw more water than flour, where's the situation? That is the day, no? The party done. So try your best and do what it is you need to do. Those numbers again are 314-9975. That's 314-9975, as well as 222-8261. That's 222-8261.
All right, let's take a call. Well, good morning to you. Good morning.
I was trying Dr. Batson a question.
Yes, good morning. How are you doing?
Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Batson, when is baby can I see?
Okay. David, God's willing, I have specific days for David now. And the reason for that, which I think I highlighted last week, was because sometimes if I work a heavy week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then Saturday, the mind is saying, get up, but my body is saying, listen to me, you need to lie down and sleep somewhere. Right? So that's what's going on, because I wasn't scheduling certain things properly. So in any case, you will see me in David now. I'm in David on the 20th, which is next Saturday, God's willing. And I'm also in David the week after that as well. So what I'm going to be most likely in David now 2 Saturdays or 3 Saturdays for the month, but they will let persons know who specifically may have to see me. All right?
Okay, sir.
You're welcome, my dear.
All right, so let's see. Let me go through some messages here. I've used Santalan and Alcogen, bought 4 packets. I have not had good results. Should I increase the amount I drink daily? Thank you.
Okay, so they said they used 4 packs of Santulan and what?
And the Alcogen water.
Okay. All right. Well, when you say they didn't have good results, I don't know exactly what it is What was your reason for taking it? If it is you just wanted a cleanse, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to bring down your blood pressure, so you might need to elaborate a bit, right?
Context.
Yeah, give me a little context there, please. The thing is, what you have to keep in mind, a lot of persons rather, let me give you a quick example. They come to us, and they come to us with 10 problems. So the pressure high, the sugar high, they ain't seeing good, they need to lose weight, they ain't going off in the washroom, they're not sleeping properly, they having hot flashes, they having dizziness, the memory giving. So you have a whole list of things wrong with you. And then we put them on the program, which is usually for a month, first 4 to 6 weeks, and then we do a revisit or a review with you. Now they will call you, or we're supposed to, because they know right now, I mean, even though we have a lot of persons, we're fixing that situation where we have to ensure that we keep calling our clients, following them, because that's very important. Communication is important. You come to get a specific result, we need to communicate in order for you to get that. So what you may find with some individuals is that they will get results in 2 things, So they might say, well, I'm getting bowel movement now, I wasn't going off now, because most people, once you use Santulan, you're getting bowel movement. So that's one problem fixed. The next thing, the blood pressure reading good, they'll say, hey, my blood pressure reading good. So I will question them and say, but you just tell me you didn't get any results. Now, the reason I'm saying that is a lot of the times they may be looking at the problem that bothering them the most. So the problem that bothering them the most is that they're not sleeping. So they say, I ain't getting no results, but you can't say you ain't getting no results. You're getting good bowel movement now and your blood pressure reading good. That's 2 things we fix out of 10. So we just have 8 more to go. That is all. So your results start, and that is something that a lot of people do not bear in mind. Because you have to keep in mind, you're not sick now, You're not sick now. I must say, I'm the healthiest person on the face of the earth, but I tell you, I sure is one of them. I guarantee you that. I take good care of myself. I don't make joke with that. And I have the knowledge to know what to do. So a lot of the times, what you need to do is, you need to be a little, well, I wouldn't say forbearing is the word, but you need to have some patience. Because some of you are sick from the founding of the world. And let me tell you something too. A lot of the things that you do in the past, don't think, Dominic, we are like you want to say something. Don't think because you did it years ago. I had people who were drug addicts. I'm not criticizing anybody else, making a point. They were drug addicts. You smoke cocaine. You know what is cocaine? For years. And then you come something wrong with your nerves. And you say, well, no, I stopped doing that 30 years ago. Oh, really? Good. But did you do anything specific? Because in order to fix that problem, nutritionally, psychologically, you need to do certain things to correct that bad enough. If you don't do it, it wouldn't be corrected. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You didn't do anything. Some people say, well, I used to eat real bad and now I'm eating good, so I'm supposed to be healthy. So your body should just forgive you. Just so. Just because you just decide to drink water today and the last 10 years you wasn't drinking water, you are catching up to do. You are catching up because the body renews itself over a period of time based on what it is given. You get red blood cells every what? Every 120 days, which is every what? 4 months. So is it every 4 months you get in new cells? You have to give the body, so it means, and let me tell you something. When clients come to us and get better in 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 1 month and thing, watch me, I just feel real good. Because that's not really supposed to happen. According to the laws of the body. But you know why it does happen? Because we put things in such a way that we start to deal with the foundation. So once you deal with the foundation, you're going to start getting good results. And what the clients realize, and let me tell you something, the people who get the best results with me, a lot of the time they didn't spend plenty money, They were consistent. They were consistent with what they was doing. Now, what I'm saying from a organizational perspective, and I kind of put myself on a line here, but I just try to be as honest as possible because I know we have a lot more clients than we are accustomed to. My staff under a lot of pressure, which is why we have new staff now and we keep getting people and fitting them because we deal with a lot of people. I could simply say, yeah, what? I ain't going and I taking 10 people for the day and I don't work. I don't do that, Sometimes if they get me at their 23, I deal with 30 people for the day. And Ms. Ramdan, this day a pleasant good morning to Ms. Ramdan, always holding the fort because this do blood analysis and do that magnetic resonance analysis scan, and you do that on 15, 20. Watch me when I tell you, mentally, it is one of the most exhausting things you could do because when we speak and we're doing what we're doing, we're not just talking off at the top of our head. You can just come and we just write a prescription and we give everybody the same thing. We don't operate so. We don't operate so at all. So it's a different aspect of medicine, and you have to understand. This is not like the general hospital. Some people will come and say, I have an appointment and I waited long. I just tell them, I say, listen to me. If it is a client, come to me in that office. My staff just quarrel with me. If you hear this girl, Dr.Batson, you're taking too long with that person. Now, it's not like I deliberately take long with the person, but if it requires that in order for me to deal with this person properly, I have to take an hour with them. I'm going to take the hour with you. Now, the person who come after, they might be 15 minutes, and they might look at that and say, but Dr. Batson, you only spent 15 minutes with me, 15 minutes with me, and you spend an hour with she. What happened to me? What? Where you feel it is? What are we doing? What are we doing today? It's the blood analysis, that type of thing. So at the end of the day, the assessment and the protocol for some people might be a little more painstaking than the other because it's people we deal with. And that's where Western medicine has lost the touch of really dealing with people because it's a plaster for every sore that they're using. You come, your pressure high, come. Take an Alprin, take an Amphetamine, take a Atenolol. You're mad and you have papers for madness, you will not continue driving the car. You're going to find a what? You're going to find a gas station. So your body telling you your pressure high and you going to take medication to take your pressure down. Okay, good, no problem. You need to get the pressure down. Get the pressure too high, you can get a stroke and dead. But you cannot do that all the time. Your body's telling you. So your body telling you every morning you get up and you test your pressure, you're getting 150 over 110. What do you think your body telling you? That you will blow up just now. That is what it's telling you. You're either going to get a stroke, you're going to get an aneurysm, you're going to get a blood clot, something going to happen. You will die just now. So play stupid. It don't work. That don't work. It's something wrong. There's a vehicle. If your vehicle want diesel, you just put diesel. Why you think they just take diesel and put it on the cap had diesel on it? On the lid had diesel, that's to make sure you ain't going to a gas station and some mad person go and put what? Super or premium inside your car. Why? Because you will have to get a tow truck to move you from there. So if that is the case, and you know sugar not good for you, use a gas vehicle and you require premium gas. Why in God's name are you putting diesel in your? Why are you eating the people's sugar and don't expect to get sick? So now they had to go and get what for you? They had to get a tow truck. You know what's the tow truck for human beings? The ambulance. You have lights on it and they just move very fast. I pray to God the day that I never had to go inside of one of that because just the way that it's drive, I go dead. Especially if your heart is suffering with. But you want to reach because they want to save your life. So common sense make before book. A lot of us, they treat our cars better than we treat ourselves. There is no body. You know, one of the points I was making, let me make this point very quickly because I was talking to somebody and I was like, hey, I didn't use this point on my program. I was telling them that people who are involved in athletics and who are physically fit people have to take better care of themselves than sedentary people. All you agree with me? So if you're an athlete, if you're a football player, you're a runner, you're active, you're running, you're riding bike, you're playing sports and things, you don't think you need to take better care of yourself than somebody who just reach home and lie down on the bed or the tea, sorry, or the couch and they watch TV and they just sit down and eat and sit down whole day? They will outlive you, you know. You know why? You're not under pressure. But when you're running, you're running, so it means your body is under more wear and tear. And people don't understand. I remember there was a time, not to bring any bad memories, there was a footballer, a national footballer, who had a cardiovascular situation. And he reached to the point he got so bad that he eventually had to remove his legs. Right. A lot of people were wondering if there's a footballer. But you know, some men, they say that I just run ball, I just thing. Let me tell you something, brother, man. You will get heart attack and stroke faster than somebody who don't do anything. Because your body is under more wear and tear. You see people in the gym lifting up a set of iron? Them is our next set. Have to watch themselves. That's why plenty of them is die from heart problems. Because your body under more wear and tear, you have to be taking your vitamins. You must be, you see, cleansing is one of the most important. If we were to count it, hydration, your water. No, oxygen first, because you're breathing, you're dead. After breathing, oxygen is water. After water, your basic aspect with your food. And the next thing is exercise. That word that plenty people don't like. I'm not telling you I'm going to gym and lift up 1,000,000 weights. But everybody, especially people when they reach a certain age, they should have been in a gym. You are less likely to have problems with arthritis if you work out. Because you know what those movements do? They keep the bones dense. You remember I was talking about density? Walking and exercise actually keeps your bones dense and keep your bones how they're supposed to. Do you know that astronauts in space, if you go to space as an astronaut, or you're in space, you're living in space, and you stay in space for 3 weeks, 3 weeks, boy? Or is it a month? No, 2 months. You would lose at least 30% of your muscle mass. And your bones start to deteriorate. You know why? There is no gravity. So as a result of that, you're not getting that. So it begins to, so what they have to do, you know what astronauts do in space? They actually have workout. They have workout routines they do, you know, with exercise machines, you know, in order to keep that density and to keep the bones the way they are. That is to tell you how important exercise is for the human body. People who are bedridden, what has happened to them after a while? What has happened to them after a while? They get bed sore, you're not turning, you're not getting proper circulation. And that is why exercise is so important. So let me give you those telephone numbers. Again, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. For those of you who are asking the question about the chiropractor in St. Joseph, the reason why I wouldn't call the gentleman's number out on radio is, one, I do not have permission to do that, and two, it would be insensitive of me because he's already, like myself, woefully overbooked. But I always try to get people in and I give them the number. So at least call the office and the office will give you the number, right? Because I don't want to put him in, you know, any situation. He already is, well, he's not overwhelmed, but plenty work. Okay. So how are time going, sir?
No, that's it for our time, man.
Okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
You saying that, and
yeah.
I'm just looking at the number of messages that come in here. My phone line's lighting up, and I say to myself, "Oh, they just don't blame Dominic."
Yeah, don't blame Dominic. Don't blame Dominic. What I have to do? What I have to do?
Honestly, look, I think the program today covered a lot.
Yeah, this program was a good program.
It was definitely a good program.
Yeah.
So, friends, if you want Dr. Batson, you just heard Dr. Batson talk about overworking yourself, so understand that he needs to get some rest. So,
exactly. Yeah. If I'm dead, I can't help anybody.
I was saying, so if it is that you want more time with Dr. Batson on a Sunday right here on Sky 995, 1, treat him well during the week. or figure out how you're going to get Dr. Batson and myself and the rest of the team a good vacation time. Yes, sir.
You understand? I tell someone I haven't had a vacation in must be about 6 years. Yeah. But I'm good, man. I'm good. I'll be all right. So with that being said, very quickly, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Sky 99.5 family, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. I'll be continuing on Facebook, so you could just stay with me, just not for long, maybe about 10 minutes again. Dominic, sir, always a pleasure until next week.
Yes, sir.
God bless. Yes, sir. Yes, Facebook family. Miss Pauline McKenna, only yesterday someone told me that her family history is hypertension and she has hypertension. She just takes, oh my God, the medication, not doing anything to actually get rid of it. Sad. Yes, Miss McKenna, you have to deal with the root cause of the problem. I'm not saying that you can't use medication, but you use the medication for a period of time. Then you get yourself in gear, exercise-wise, and that type of thing. You know what's really going on with you. So Facebook family, you know, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Let me try and see if I can go back up and get some of your questions. I do this program with a certain level of energy, boy. Even though I get a cough, I don't know where this comes from. But actually, no, I drink some black seed oil this morning. I feel I kind of didn't swallow properly. I just kind of gobble it down. Miss Pauline D. Thompson, good morning, Dr. Batson. Reaching out from Miami. Can you treat beta thalassemia? Yes, we can. I'm getting conflicting recommendation from doctors. One said I need to take iron supplements, and the other said iron isn't necessary. Yeah, Ms. Thompson, we could deal with that. You could always message us on 314. Well, for you, it will be 1-868-314-9975. Okay, Doc, on the topic of parasites, in example, rheumatism, what would you recommend? Or would you recommend ivermectin to be used as well? It is used to get rid of parasites. Yes, I would recommend, because it is something that is used as a parasite cleansing the body. So it would help. Ms. Judy Jupiter is saying cataract and blurred vision. Definitely you need some eye optics formula. But the thing is with cataracts, what you always also have to deal with cataracts, you have to watch your use of the microwave. You also have to watch as it relates to the sun, because one of the things you need to do, because we live in the tropics and the sun is also very hot and that type of thing, you should have a proper, well-tested sunglasses that you should use on a daily basis. That's something that you need to help. Someone is asking about angina. Whoa, these questions coming in a lot, boy. Angina, there's a product we use with L-arginine in it. That's actually very good. It's called Pro-arginine. You could always call and get some information on it. There's a product we use which is an omega laminine. Omega is also very good for that, together with the optimizer and the nerve restore. You may also have to do the cleanse, right? The Santulan and the Alkagen water. All right. Hey, Dr. Batson, can you treat hemorrhoids? Yes, we can treat hemorrhoids. We actually have a very good product that we bring for the hemorrhoids. It's a gel that you actually take and put on the hemorrhoids themselves. And we have had a lot of persons who have gotten some seriously good results with that as well. Okay. So Facebook family. That is all the questions I can take for the day. I am going to have to go through this live. Well, the thing is, in the office, they normally go through it, right? So if you could at least, in some cases, well, you all don't want to put your numbers on Facebook, so at least message the 1-868-314-9975. That's 1-868-314-9975. That's the WhatsApp. The other number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. And we will be in discussions with you again regarding those. So, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless you guys. Always a pleasure to be in your company. I'm sorry I can't stay much longer, but we will catch up next week, because I wasn't on Thursday, but I should be on this Thursday here. And then I have some programs that I'm going to be doing. And the good thing about it, they could always go and check all these lives, right? They just go, what do they have to do, Shaki? They just go to our page. Yeah, and you see it there. Because somebody was saying, normally the lives goes after a while, but I think when they go in videos, once you go in the videos, you'll see it, correct?
And if you go on YouTube,
it's
there as well.
And on YouTube, it is also there.
It's there forever.
Good. So we Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. We Batson and Associates TT on Instagram, and we are Batson and Associates Trinidad on YouTube. Always a pleasure to be in your company. God bless you guys. Have a safe Sunday. Remember, not too much macaroni pie today. Put a little provision, mix it up, have some salad, and lesson on the juice, right? God bless you guys. And until next week, Thursday, we would see. Take care. Bye-bye.